I still remember watching Mahanadi with my parents, and my mom was like literally crying in the theater. And then she told, no, hereafter I won't come to Kamal movies because he makes me cry. You first get an interesting plot and then you put a more interesting character into that plot. That's what makes a good screenplay. So that day, one night, we watched a film called Ring. For 2-3 days, I was like totally scared. I wanted to learn about films. Then one of my friends suggested watch this film called Shawshank Redemption. That was one film which kind of changed me. If you take Jigarthanda. So for me, the basic idea was...
Hello everyone, my name is Hindol and welcome to MUBI presents Beyond Bollywood, a brand new series on Chalchitra Talks which celebrates the best of Indian cinema. In this episode, I spoke to Karthik Subbaraj, the filmmaker behind iconic Tamil films like Jigarthanda, Pizza and Ilaiyaraaja. Ever since I discovered his films, Karthik has been one of my most favorite filmmakers from India with a very fresh and unique style of his own. In this episode, I spoke to Karthik about his love for Quentin Tarantino, the music of Maestro Ilayaraja, and above all, superstar Rajinikanth. This video is brought to you by MUBI, which is a curated streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. Get a whole year of great cinema for only Rs $12.99 from mubi.io/Beyond Bollywood. Also, do watch out for a MUBI recommendation from me at the end of this episode. And now let's jump right into the conversation I had with Karthik. Hi Karthik, welcome to Chalchitra Talks. How are you feeling today?
Good. Very nice.
So today I'm going to take a lot of recommendations from you, and in your film Jigarthanda XX you have coined the term Pandya.
Pan India.
Pandya. Which is a pun on Pan India. So this is also a Pan India show, so we'll take as many recommendations from you in that space. So the first question that I want to start with is that which was that first film you saw which was outside your mother tongue?
Outside my mother tongue, because I'm from Madurai, so that time it's basically mostly like Tamil films and especially like the films, the theatre, like Kalevar films, like Rajinikanth's films, and all the heroes films. So, and also that time it was habit of like the well made when the film which is hit in Telugu will come in a Tamil dub. So I used to watch those films also. So basically I think after during my college times we started watching like Hindi films, English films and all that. And especially in Madurai there is a theatre called Maappillai Vinayagar and Manikya Vinayagar, like two theatres, and they screen only English films. So that time my dad used to take to those films, like all Jackie Chan films, Bruce Lee films and all that, and like Jurassic Park, Titanic and all that. So those were the like other language films. Like I used to watch like English films and Hindi films and all, like say Lagan and all was when we were studying, it became a big thing. So I still remember watching Lagan in theatre in the same Maappillai Vinayagar where they used to only screen other language films. But it was like watching a cricket match live in the theatre. So I still remember those experiences, and Shah Rukh Sir's films and all, and Hum Aapke Hain Kaun was. So, but I don't actually understand Hindi, but still, and there is no subtitle concept at that time. But still, if the film is like much talked about, we used to go and sit and watch, even though we don't understand one dialogue from the film. So just sit and watch and come there. But I think the first film which is like out of my like a regular my consumption of films in Madurai, but first time was Shawshank Redemption. That's the one film which actually side of changed, because here also like I used to watch Balu Mahendra Sir's film, Mahendran Sir's film and all, like and Mani Sir's film usually, and that time there were a lot of directors like Bala Sir and all that. So those films were more of like those films actually initiated my passion towards cinema. Like okay, this is because I also love to watch like masala commercial films also. But these kind of films actually sort of made me think more about those stories. I mean, this had an impact even after coming out of theatre. It always used to be, because the most discussion we used to have in school and colleges and all is about the films, whichever we saw during those week, we used to keep discussing. And I think after my college, I slowly started thinking, okay, I should learn filmmaking, or at least learn the concept of writing something, because I used to write like Tamil. I used to do some stage plays during the college and all that. So I used to write like Tamil poetries and all that. But I wanted to learn about films and all that. Then one of my friends suggested, watch this film called Shawshank Redemption. So I think those kind of films will never going to come to theatre here. So it's only after. So then I started watching. I watched the Shawshank Redemption. That was one film which kind of changed me, and then I started watching a lot of films in that lines to see, okay, what kind of a screenplay, what is actually a screenplay, what the storytelling way and everything. So that is one film which I suddenly remember that.
You mentioned your friend made you watch Shawshank Redemption. So I have a story similar to that. It involves some bit of piracy, but my friend did the piracy, not me. So it's his fault. So he knew that I am very much into Tarantino. Like that was the initial phase that I'm discovering movies. And you go through IMDb top 250, see Shawshank Redemption, Seven Samurai, all those movies. So one day he just gave me his pen drive and he said, there's one movie in this, watch this and tell me what you think. That film was Jigarthanda. And that was how I discovered you. I discovered that film, and it's like one of my most favorite Tamil films. So after that, I just went on a binge, saw all the movies, and I've never missed any of your films which I've released theatrically in the theatre after that. So yeah, thank you, Arvind Srinivas. I have to mention his name. He made me watch Jigarthanda, and now we are here. So yeah. On this thread, like friends recommending movies, what are some movies that you have made your friends watch, that this is a film you have to watch?
I mean, after that, whenever we talk about, after that, when I got into this film circle, like people and all that, we used to discuss a lot of films. And I mean, obviously, because Shawshank Redemption is one film which I used to keep watching often. Like even recently, 1 month back also, I was watching the entire film. So I used to recommend that film. But then slowly I got to know like Tarantino. That's like so my brother-in-law is Karthik. He's a producer. He was producer of Stone Bench. But before that, when I was working in IT in Bangalore. My sister got married to him. So he has a lot of. He used to watch a lot of. English films and things. So he used to have a lot of DVD, like original DVD collections at his house. So I used to stay in their house only when I was working for a few years. So that time I started watching a lot of films like Pulp Fiction and all. I started watching only then, like Pulp Fiction. Then all the Tarantino films I started watching. Then I started watching Coen Brothers and all that. So I used to recommend those films which actually sort of I liked to the people whom ask for recommendation. Generally, I don't go and tell them. They say, okay, what kind of film. And also, like when we discuss scripts, like not only my scripts, like other filmmaker friends' scripts and all, like depending on those script, I might suggest them telling like, okay, maybe this film might help you to understand that particular treatment better.
Right, like a reference.
Yeah, like a reference, yeah.
Right. So you mentioned that Shawshank is a film that you keep revisiting. So which are like some of your favorite like moments which you have gone back and revisited?
Basically, Shawshank Redemption, what I liked was the entire concept of the film, of the protagonist, the attitude of the protagonist. That's what I like, because he sort of accepts what is given to him. He knows that he has not committed that murder or something, but he was framed and then he's inside. But then he used to be calm and everything. But then he used to be he used to play his strength. Like he always behaves as a person. Like he helps them because he was, I think, like an auditor or something. So he helps to like the tax and everything and all. But once he sort of comes to know that actually he's not in fault, after that he just so I just like the way that character was written.
The funny thing is, on the outside, I was an honest man, straight as an arrow. I had to come to prison to be a crook.
And then Morgan Freeman's character, and then the conversations between them, talking about the hope.
Remember, Red, Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
One of my favorite scenes is the roof scene where
They drink beer.
they have beer, and basically it's him winning them over as friends.
Yeah.
So that was the first time you get to see Andy's side. So I really like that scene. So apart from Shawshank, are there any other films that you keep revisiting, or it feels like this is a comfort watch? I can watch it anytime.
Like usually I don't keep revisiting many films and all that, but sometimes like when I'm say somewhat like I'm down, I used to. I mean, obviously like I'm a big Talaivar fan. I used to watch those films for my self, what to say, motivation and all that. And Manisha's films I like Thalapathy, Nayagan, and all I used to watch. And there is a film called Mullum Malarum from Mahendran sir. That's an extraordinary film. So that I used to watch, and Bala Mahendra sir's films and all that. But like if you take foreign films or English films, like if my mood is bad and then I just want something for motivation, I used to watch Tarantino, some films like which is just like a blast thing and all that.
Yeah. Which is your favorite Tarantino film?
I would say Pulp Fiction. Basically, I think that's one film which I watched many times.
Right.
Pulp Fiction, but then I liked Inglourious Bastard because the way it was treated, taking something like a real life character like say Hitler, but then changing the history in that film, and then showing that he is being killed in the end by so that kind of the crazy wild thought I like in his films. That's what even in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood also it is something like that. What if this has happened in the real thing? So that kind of so I would say Inglourious Bastards.
Right. So which is one genre that you really like, that you can watch any movie from that genre, and one genre which you don't appreciate as much?
I actually like more of drama. Like, not like complete full action films. I don't actually prefer watching like I mean when I was kid or something, that I used to love Jackie Chan films and all that. But then now say John Wick type of films and all that, I'm not a big fan of those. But I like dramas, like and dramas with action. I mean the drama what leads to the action. That's what I like. I mean some drama, some emotional drama or something should lead to an action, and that action block how you treat. So that's kind of genre I love the most, and I'm not a big fan of this completely VFX oriented. I have not seen any of the Marvel or DC films. I've seen Dark Knight because that's not too much of a. But the superhero films, I like superhero concepts and everything, but too much of a VFX films I don't actually get into it.
So, sir, in terms of genres that we don't appreciate as much, so horror is one genre that I kind of feel that, okay, sometimes it can be too gimmicky also, and sometimes it just feels like, okay, I can see through whatever the jump scares and everything. So, sir, in terms of horror, because you've made a couple of horror films, so what are some films that you really like and would like to recommend?
Yeah, so horror actually, I don't see horror at all. Like I'm very scared of horror films, to be honest. Like I've seen because in Tamil films also there's a lot of horror films, which because initially like when we are like studying like 4th or 5th standard and all, that time we used to have a habit of renting the cassette player. Whenever there is holiday and many people get guests at home and all, they used to rent a cassette player and then used to binge watch movies. So that time there was one film called Padimunam Number Veedu. It's called House Number 13. Okay?
House Number 13.
So I saw that film and that made a huge impact on me. Like I was totally scared for like 2 days. And after that, but my mom used to watch a lot of, she likes horror films. So whenever we used to rent that video deck thing, she used to get at least 2-3 horror films. So one day we were like continuously watching horror films like this Padimunam Number Veedu, and then there was another film. So the whole day was full of horror films, and that made a huge impact. And after that, I never watched a horror film in theatre. But then my wife, her name is Satya, so she is like a big horror fan. She used to watch all horror films, and so she likes that very much. So why I actually made my first film as horror was there's two reasons. One is Jigarthanda was supposed to be my first feature.
Right.
So that's my first script I wrote, and then I didn't get a producer because nearly like 1.5-2 years went off in just finding a producer for that. But then I decided, okay, I mean, because basically I have not worked as an assistant director to anyone, so there is nobody to recommend us. And I was a part of a reality show called Naalaya Iyakunar here. So that gave me a good identity to just go and talk to people. But then I made only short films. So they liked my short film, but the thing is like they were not ready to give a budget for Jigarthanda involved a bit more budget.
Right.
So then when I was discussing, I just thought, okay, why not make a film like 12 Angry Men, like in a room,
Right.
just 2 people or 3 people, let us make something like that. And then whatever obviously that came to my mind was a horror.
Right.
But then I don't want to do a horror. So because I don't, I'm not a big fan of horror movies. But then I got this idea of a pizza delivery guy getting into a house and then getting trapped in the horror element. But then I didn't want to finish that film as a horror film. So then I got an idea of, okay, why not this be like a heist?
Right.
So if you see Pizza, the character, the female lead is basically from my wife character, because she used to watch a lot of horror films, and she actually motivating this guy to tell a horror story to the person who believes it, the boss, and then they cheat and then they steal some diamonds and all that. So that's how Pizza came into my mind. But there are, I was working in US, so that time also, that time it was more of Netflix and all was DVD rental shop, so you can go and there's a lot of other places also where you can go and get the original DVDs and all that. So that time I watched a film called Ring. That was also very scary because in US the house I stayed was actually scary. Normally only it will be like, because the street will be like after sunset it will be like totally completely not much of people around and all that. So that day, one night, we watched that film Ring, and that was again for 2-3 days I was like totally scared. So if you ask horror film recommendation, that's one film I could remember. And then I think Insidious or some film, because when I was doing, when I decided that, I mean, I got a producer for Pizza, and then I finished the screenplay also. But then I started watching some films for some sort of a reference thing. At that time, I think my wife, I forgot the film name, but because I was asking like, why not a film, is there any horror film that is completely shot in a day without any night? So I think she recommended one film, I saw that film. Not sure it's Insidious or some other thing, but I like that film also.
There's also Midsommar, which has come out now. That is also a horror film which is set in the day. Because I had this exact same query that why can't horror films happen in the day, and I found that film. Fun film. I think you would appreciate it. Yeah. So
also I liked the recent other, because now slowly even the horror genre is changing. I think films like Us, and there is one film which won the Oscars. What is that?
Get Out.
Get Out, yeah. So those kind of films where they actually sort of take a like a politically political thing or something like about racism or something, and then making it into a horror film. That kind of genres I sort of liked it. I also saw another film where they go and rent a place, but that place used to be for immigrants who were kept there, and then their ghosts and all will be there. I think Netflix I saw a film. It was very good.
Even in India, there's Tumbad. I don't know.
Yeah, Tumbad. I saw Tumbad. Tumbad. I loved Tumbad because I think the treatment was extraordinary. I mean, the cinematography, the entire story. I like that kind of films. I don't like typical horror. Instead of that, if there is something more than that, I like that kind of film.
So one of the things I really like to do is that if there's a filmmaker whose films are exciting, I try and look up like if they've made any short films, because that's when you get to see that this is where they started from. So I found your short film called Parallax, which was on your YouTube channel. So I've also recommended it. But I just wanted to know, what are some of your favorite short films?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like, I've seen a lot of, because I started making I learned filmmaking by making short films, and so I started like in a very, I just bought a HD tape camera, then I bought a Mac thing because I was working in IT.
Right.
So whatever money I earned there, I just used to buy that and edit software. And then I started making films. I used to edit. I used to put some music and all that. So that's how I made this film called Parallax. And that actually got me into this reality show called Naalaya Iyakunar. They saw that film and selected me into that. And whatever film we made in Naalaya Iyakunar, and I think they are not in YouTube. Maybe I can send you some links and all that. So that was a very exciting process because that's when, because before that I was just making like very, it was more of an amateur short film, and it's more like one man, I mean, me doing everything. I used to shoot, I used to edit, I used to put music and everything and then put it in YouTube. And then but Naalaya Iyakunar, they said it has to be like professional. You have to like make it look more professional film, like so it can't look like amateurish. So you need to work with a cinematographer, you need to hire an editor and all that. So that's when I got to know like Manigandan. I think he's also a great filmmaker, and he has done Kaka Muttai, he has done Kadesi Vyavasai and all that. So at that time, but he was a cinematographer. I mean, he used to work as a cinematographer assistant, and then he was looking to work as a cinematographer and director also. So then Alphonse Putran, Premam director. So he was also in Chennai. Then I got introduced to them, and he used to edit my short films. So those films actually were very, even if I think that's where we all learnt filmmaking, like we all, and that's when Vijay Sethupathi was acting in all my short films, Bobby Sima was acting in all my short films. So those films maybe it's still not in YouTube, but I can, so if there is a short film recommendation, I would say there is one short film made by Manigandan. I worked in this film as an associate. We did it during the Naalaya Iyakunar times. It's called Wind, and I'm not sure whether it is there in YouTube or something. So that is an extraordinary piece of art. I mean, Vijay Sethupathi and Bobby would have starred in this film, and we shot in somewhere near Theni for like 5 days. We shot, and it was Manigandan's one of the extraordinary work. So that short film I would recommend. I mean, but I'm not sure where to watch it. I'm not sure it is released in YouTube or something. But I think it's gone to some film festivals and all that. But it's a superb short film.
Nice. So since you actively also make short films, even now you've made short films which are part of anthologies as well. So what is the secret to making a good short film?
I think what I see after that, because because we made short films, we got a producer, we are making feature films, and now I see a lot of short filmmakers making short films for to get a producer. In the night, it's more of like a showreel kind of a thing. But actually, what I would just say is like the script actually should decide the length of the film. So I mean, if that particular story is sort of has to be told in like 3 minutes, it's a short film. If it needs to be told in like 2.5 hours, it's a feature film. So I would tell pick a story like that. I mean, which needs only that much time to convey. Because what's now happening is they are trying to squeeze a feature film into a short film and showcase it. So that has songs, that has fight and all that. So and basically short films basically depends on what a quirky idea it is, or a very hard hitting thing to be conveyed in a very shorter time. So that's the beauty of short film. I think that format itself is has its own beauty. So I would just say don't try to mimic a feature film into it. Like don't try to make it as a showreel that you can. I mean, because when I did short films, it is not. It's not to. I mean, obviously I showed my short films to the producer, and then only I got a producer. But then that gave the confidence to them. Okay, this guy can make a feature film. But I never tried to put in everything. Like I can actually shoot a fight sequence. There's no song sequence in my short film. There is no fight sequence in the short film. And then because Pratap Vadan sir, I mean, he was one of the jury. So that time he used to tell that. I mean, so the short film, that's what he used to tell. I mean, you pick a story that should be told in a shorter time, and then you write a script for it, and then you do it as a short film. That's the one advice I would tell.
So there was an interview of Rajkumar Irani where he mentioned that he shoots every scene like a short film, which has a definite like beginning, middle, and end. So what do you think of this approach? Would it help a screenplay or?
Yeah, I mean, basically, when I write my script and screenplay, basically there will be like some scenes which is very important. No, I think like say if there are 60 scenes, but there will be like one set pieces or like important scenes will be like some 20 scenes. No,
Right.
other than that, there will be like connecting small scenes like where he travels from here to there, and there is a small interrogation scene or something like that. But the main scenes and all, even I used to see like how the scene ends.
Right.
Like even the connecting scenes also, I make sure that it has a high point and then it transitions smoothly to the next scene. So I think that's a good thing it's a very good tip for a writer, like a screenplay writer. Like every scene you treat it as a film. Like what is the setup of the scene? Because if the scene is say 5 minutes, so how much time you take it to elevate the scene, and what is the high point of the scene, and then how it ends, and then transition to the next scene.
Next scene. Right. So when we talk about screenwriting, like the overall structure of a screenplay, so plot or character, what comes first to you, and what do you think should be focused more upon?
For me, I mean, obviously, this for me, the story ideas comes. I think the plot comes first to me. I mean, the thought process wise.
Right.
But then when I start writing, I would want a very interesting character to be put in that plot. So that's what because I mean most of the there are stories which is plot driven and there are stories that is character driven.
Character driven.
But when I write, what you say, for me, say for example, if you take Jigarthanda, so for me the basic idea was the plot. I mean that came first. It's like, what if a filmmaker gets caught with the gangster? Because that came from a real incident for me. During this Naalaya Iyakunar time, I went and met a person because we are shooting a short film for Naalaya Iyakunar, and that involves a murder scene in that particular thing. So me, Manigandan and I are talking, and then we were like, okay, because we have that energy, at that time, because it's a competition. So we need to do something. So we shouldn't show, we should actually go behind the psychology of a murder. So then one of the friend told, okay, so I know a person who's been in jail for a murder case, but now he's come out and then he's he has changed person. So maybe let us go and talk to him. Like, what was his psychology before committing that murder? So we went and met him, and we were talking, and then suddenly what happened was he explained all the things, but then he was more interested in acting in that film. He knows that we are going to make a short film. So he was like, okay, you guys are going to make that short film from my story. No, we said, no, it's not your story. We just wanted to get some inputs. It's like, okay, I can act. So he was more trying to impress us with his acting skills. So that's when I got the idea of this Jigarthanda itself. Like, okay, because every person, I mean, even person into a crime world also, they have very much interest to cinema, because cinema is like, everyone loves cinema, and everyone wants have a small actor in them always. Like they want to be part of acting. So what if an aspiring filmmaker gets caught with a gangster who wants to act? That's the plot point I got. But then when I started writing, only this plot point wouldn't make a film interesting, because if you go by incident wise, but the thing is, like, I always believe, you take any film, whatever I liked, it's basically the characters that actually pulls me into the film, and then when that particular character is put into a situation of the plot, and that makes it more interesting. Right. So I would go by saying, like, you first get an interesting plot, and then you put a more interesting character into that plot. That's what makes a good screenplay. That's what I think.
So what are some of your all-time favorite characters from any film?
For me, all-time favorite characters, Talabadi's Talabadi film, Rajini sir's character, Surya. That is, I think that character, the way the character is written, it was extraordinary. Because he has his own traits, he has his own. He's also not like completely. You wouldn't show him as a like a completely good person, like a complete white person. He's sort of a hitman, but he's a very emotional person. Like he doesn't know who his parents are, so that thing is there in him always. And then the friendship angle comes, then he does everything for his friend. So, and the way தலைவர் had carried that thing, so that's one of my very favorite character.
Do you think characters being flawed makes them much more interesting?
Yeah, to me at least. For me, I think always, I always believe everyone. I mean, everyone is in a gray shade only. I mean, there is no like a completely black or a completely white. I think humans are gray. So only those kind of characters and interest me, even to watch the film or even when I write also, they have flaws in that.
So who are some of your favorite villains?
I think one of my favorite villains was a character called Bhavani in Ram Gopal Varma's film called Satya Udayam.
Udayam was Dod.
No, Nagarjuna's film.
Shiva.
Shiva,
Yes.
yeah, Shiva.
Raghuvaran sir.
Raghuvaran sir. That is, I think Raghuvaran sir is my favorite villain of all time. I mean, on all his characters. Bhavani in that Shiva Udayam. I think it's called Udayam here in Tamil.
In Tamil.
So I think I still remember watching that film in Tamil in theatre. So at that time, that film fascinated me because of that villain character. And also there is another film called Poovili Vasilile. It is Satyaraj's film. It's an extraordinary. I think it's basically a remake from a Malayalam film. I think there is another villain called played by Babu Anthony sir. That is one villain character that haunted me when I was so the concept of villain itself was enticing for me, or the thing came from Rajini sir because he started as a villain,
right?
And we should see the films which he has done as villain in the before he started doing hero. There is one film called Moonru Mudichu by Balachandra sir. You should see that film. I mean, I think he's the most dreaded villain in that film, and especially there is one scene where I think Kamal sir is the lead in that.
Right.
I mean, so they both are friends. Like Kamal sir and Rajini sir, they both are friends, and then Sridevi madam is the heroine. So Kamal sir and Sridevi, they are in love and all that, but Rajini sir's character has an eye on that female. So they go for a trip, like a day trip. They take and go for a day trip, and Kamal sir is so good that he takes his friend also along with him. You also come with us. So we'll go for a picnic or something like that. So they go in a boat. And Rajini sir is rowing the boat, and they both are like singing a song, like a love song and all that. And you just see that song. I think it's there on YouTube also. So you should see to know what is villainism, no? Because that's what happens in the film. So he will be also smiling. He'll be also doing all that and all that. So in the mid of the song, he'll be having a mouth organ thing, Kamal sir. So in the middle of the song, he just tried to throw that mouth organ and tried to catch it, and then he falls into that lake.
Yeah.
Then you should see his thing. Okay, his friend is there. So Sridevi madam will come and beg him, like, come and save him. So then he will just keep quiet, and then he started rowing the boat faster, and then he sings a song. Now Rajini sir will sing a song. So that was an ultimate villainism. I still remember watching that film and it's like, what? So I think Rajini sir tops the list of the best villain.
I have an observation about actors who can do negative roles very well. So if you take like any actors who are known for playing villains like Prakash Raj sir, Ashish Vidyarthi sir, they also have very good comic timing. So I kind of feel that actors who are good in comedy can also play negative roles very well. Have you ever encountered something like this?
Yeah, I think basically because now more of a dark humor zone. Like,
Right.
I think that's where everywhere in any films, like even if you take English films also, I think they have a tinge of a dark humor attached to it. That's when they become a very villainous thing, because most of us don't like a typical villain where he is always. But even in the villainous character also, you need some moments where there's a slight dark humor in it. And so I think most of the artists who are good in humor can also be a good villain.
So which are some of your favorite gangster films?
Again, Talabadi. I don't know the gangster film, Nayagan, Godfather, the, and Ram Gopal Varma film, Satya and Company,
Company.
all that.
Godfather 1, 2 or 3, like which one do you
I like
have?
one
One.
more. I mean, the one is what, mostly, and then two also. Like,
Yeah, there are a lot of people, like this is a recent opinion I've encountered, where people like Godfather 2 more than 1 because like it's much more ambitious. There's a whole second plot line with Robert De Niro playing Marlon Brando's
Yeah.
young version. So there's all of that happening as well. So I also like 1 because 1 sets up the whole world. But yeah, that's also an
but I
opinion.
think one has more of an angle of this Michael Corleone's how he actually turns into
Right.
this family business, and that I like more because even gangster films more than the action part or more than the killing and other part, I like the emotional drama behind that.
Right.
So that's what makes a gangster film more interesting. Like in that way, I felt one is my most favorite. Yeah.
Right. So you recommended an underrated film of Rajni sir. I also want an underrated recommendation of Kamal sir from you. Any film that you would want people to see?
Yeah, you should see a film called Mahanadi.
Mahanadi.
Yeah, that is. I think many people know about Anbe Shivam because that was when it got released. It was not. It didn't do well in the box office, but now people are raving about it. But I think you should see a film called Mahanadi. It's very very simple family story, like a person who's got to do well. I mean, it's more of like we would have seen stories where people who are living in their roots, like in their villages, or in a good way, but they have this. They get more ambitious, and then they come to a city where they sort of meet people whom they haven't never seen, like manipulative people and all that, and how they their life gets shattered. So Mahanadi is one such film, and I still remember watching Mahanadi with my parents when I was a kid. We took to theater, and my mom was like literally crying in the theater, and then she told no, hereafter I won't come to Kamal movies at all because he makes me cry in the film, and because it's very hard hitting film.
Yeah.
Like if you should see that film, so that is one I would say you should watch.
The ending of Mahanadi is something that I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
Again, this I had no idea about. I just read that, okay, so like you get those lists, right, like 10 best films of Kamal Haasan. So I saw the film, I was like, okay, I should watch. And I watched it without subtitles, but like it still shook me to the core. So you are a self-taught screenwriter, right? So what are some of the books or like screenplays that you read that helped you, pick up?
Yeah, because I actually went to a one-day course called Film Camp in Bangalore. It's run by a person called filmmaker called Sanjay Nambiar. So he is extraordinary. I mean, he only taught me to what is actually a script, what is the format of a screenplay, how you should write the screenplay and everything. So that's the basics I learned, and I haven't read much of screenplay books. I mean, they used to generally tell. Read this screenplay technique books by Sheffield and all that. So, and there is a very good book by Sujata sir. Sujata sir is a great writer from Tamil. So, he has written a book called Thiraikadai Eludhuvathu Eppadi. It's a very small book. Thiraikadai Eludhuvathu Eppadi means like how to write a screenplay. So, there he would have explained in a very simple words and like how you should write a screenplay. So, that book helped me a lot. And other usual Sitfield's book and how to break the screenplay and all that. But I think I learnt a lot from Sanjay Nambiar sir's technique of. He just taught me like how you split, because you have a story in mind, but how you are going to split that into scenes, and then how you write as a screenplay, and then how it goes to a short division, and how that goes to a storyboard, and before shoot, how much you are ready to. How much you run your script in your mind before going to shoot helps you there. So that kind of techniques I learned from him.
Right. So on set, there are a lot of tricks that filmmakers adapt to, ensure that they are calm or like get the action done quickly. For example, when Varun Grover came, he directed a film recently. So he said that the number one thing you should remember is that wear comfortable clothes. Then there are other filmmakers like Zoya Akhtar. She says that good food keeps like the unit happy. So are there any like pet peeves that you have on film set?
Like I would just tell my AD team, what I will always tell, like let us at least go in a good mindset and shoot without any tension, but that's very rare. I always tell that, okay, at least one day you give me in the film, just give me one day where there is not much of a not thinking about, okay, whether this has come, this is going to happen, what is happening to tomorrow's thing and all that. But that's a part of filmmaking. But because I know that there will be problems, there will be like challenges and all that. But only thing I would maintain is to just concentrate on this particular scene at that moment. Like tomorrow you are going to shoot a big scene and big set work is going on and that didn't happen, or that artist is not coming, something is there. So if you let that run in, it will definitely run in your mind, like what is going to happen tomorrow. But then today you might be shooting a scene which you think or might look to be a normal scene which you can, but if I'm not concentrating in that scene and if I moved on, that moment is not going to come back later. No, so that I try that. It's kind of tough for me, but I'll try that.
And eventually every filmmaker has to shoot a scene where two people are talking to each other. So how do you make sure that like all conversation scenes seem interesting, that they are different from what you have already done?
Yeah, actually, this is it's like a learning. I mean, staging a scene is actually a learning for every filmmaker. Like because whatever films we spoke now, and this is like I used to watch it as a film. I don't watch it like a lesson. But there are some films after that. Like once I finished my script and screenplay, and then I used to read the scene, and then I used to imagine the staging. I mean, because obviously two people sitting and talking, how we are going to shoot it, what kind of shots you are going to do, are you going to just make them sit and talk, or are you going to make them walk and talk, or what interesting things you can bring in into the scene. So that's the staging part, no? So for that I used to see some references, like okay, for example, take Godfather. Like in Godfather there's a lot of conversations, especially in part one. A lot of conversations in that scene. So how they have, what kind of shots they have used, how they have staged the scene. So based on that, because just changing the location might actually add an interest to a particular scene, and bringing in an element of, say, a rain or a wind or a darker place where you are seen only in silhouette. So there's a lot of elements that can be added to make or enhance that particular dialogue scene. So that we used to sit and talk during the prep with the DOP and with the art director, and then add some elements that can add up to the scene, that can enhance the scene. So that kind of staging. And also learned a lot from Thiru sir. Thiru sir is a DOP. He did a lot of Kamal sir's. I mean, Kamal sir's Hiram he did, and for me he did Mercury, Peta and Jigarthanda too. So during Peta I remember one scene where it's a conversation scene. It's actually not like a scene where the boy and a girl come and meets Rajini sir, and then they talk something to that. So it was on paper it was just a conversation scene. So when we were seeing the location, there was like a gallery, and I told that they both will be sitting there, and Rajini sir will walk in. They both will talk. That's what the scene has been written. But then Teresa told, see, this is a conversation scene, so let us make it more interesting. It's not like you can make it super interesting or something, but make it more engaging. So why you want to make them sit there? Okay, let a cricket match happen. Bring in more. It's a college actually, college scene. So let a cricket match happen, and the other person, because as per the scene, one guy has to watch these two people going around, this boy and girl going around. From the opposite gang, one guy has to see it, and then he is going to go and complain to his boss or something. So it's like, why that guy want to peep in from a bush and see? It's just like a typical old cell. So let him play the cricket match. Let him be the batsman. Let him keep playing, and these people can converse while they're walking around the match happening.
Right.
So that it makes more interesting. So that's when I felt, that. So on that particular change, after that, it just changed me. Like after that, every scene I shoot, I used to think, okay, how can we stage it? How can we make it more interesting? What are all elements we can add? Like, what we can make the actors do or the other actors do.
Right.
Like, say we both are talking, that's the scene. But what's happening behind is also adds up to the scene. So that can add a slight dark humor to the scene, or it can add some little drama. So that's where staging kind of works.
The first time I noticed that the power of staging was in Iruvar, when there was the scene where both of them are in a location where one of them is on the ground floor and the other actor is on the terrace, and it's a conversation that's happening, and then there is a reverse of that at the end. So Iruvar, like I think if you pause like any point in the film, you will see like some interesting blocking happening.
Yeah, I think Manisha's film is known for excellent staging for every scene. Even if you see Nayagan, he used to have this thing of people down and then talking, and then the people seeing from the top. That kind of gives, even in Talapati also, there's a lot of scenes where Mammootty sir is standing in that first floor of his house, and then there is one person coming and calling him and telling this what happened. So there's the shot of him being anger and all that. So I think his way of staging is even there is even the same Irwar, there's a romantic scene between Prakash sir and his girlfriend, and they both lie down, like face closer, and then he reads a poem, and then the camera just rotates and keep coming to them. So that's even in Ponniyin Selvan 2 also you could see a extraordinary staging. So Mani sir is actually like a legend in that.
Ponniyin Selvan 2, there was that frame where the three siblings are together in one frame. So
that actually, because when we are shooting Mahan, I think Vikram sir went to that shoot and came to Mahan. That time only he told, we shot one scene where we three are talking. It was excellently staged by Mani sir. So I used to ask like what Mani sir will do, how he will treat a scene and all that. So that time he told, and I was so keen to go and see what he had done. It was extraordinarily shot.
Again, one Mani sir film that you would want more people to discover.
Ravanan. Yeah, Ravanan. Because I liked it very much, but I want more people to discover. Even I wanted to watch it, and it's not there in any OTT now. I think only a Telugu version is there somewhere, but the Tamil version is still not in Amazon or Netflix. So I want more people to watch that. And I think old Manisha's film like Mauna Ragam, all that, I think more people should watch.
Great. So now we have a fun segment which we have planned, and it's called the Cinema Paradiso Quiz with MUBI. And what I'm now going to do is that I have a couple of film frames which may or may not have to do with films that have influenced you, or films you were associated with, anything. They could be any films. You have to look at the frame and you have to tell me which film this frame is from. At the end of this round, there is a hamper which we were anyway going to give it to him. But if you win this round, we will definitely give it to you. So yeah, can we have the frames please?
I'm not very good at this, but let's see.
Let's see. So this is the first frame. You also get 10 points for each correct answer. No negative marking. So you can like keep guessing.
I should find out which film is this.
So there is some significance to this frame. Like the music of this scene, I would say, is...
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, this is Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I can see him sitting there. I mean, he plays in the jail.
Yes.
And then,
So 10 points to Karthik for Shawshank Redemption. Next we go... Okay. Yes.
Godfather?
Yes.
Yeah.
I picked this
he
frame.
He walks out with his girlfriend. And
Yeah, because it is unlike any frame in The Godfather. Like there's Christmas lights and it completely is a different world. So I picked it deliberately to throw you off, but you did good. 20 points to Karthik. Now, this frame.
Clue?
Okay. It has some connection to one of your recent films. That is the first clue. Then let's see.
Satyajit Ray's film.
Okay, and which film?
I don't know.
Yeah, this is from Potter Pachali.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a Satyajit Ray film. Next frame.
No idea.
What do you see in this frame?
It's a Buddha.
It's a Buddha statue, right? So it has some connection to the larger theme of the film. And I have a feeling this film means something to you.
No idea.
Okay, it is a film related to some war that happened somewhere nearby.
It's a Tamil film.
Yes, it's a Tamil film.
Kannathil Muthamittal.
Yes, this is from Kannathil Muthamittal. Okay, now what should I give you? I should give you this one. This frame. I know this is a slightly off frame, so I'll give you a clue right away. This is the introduction shot of a very iconic character in a film that we have spoken about today.
Pulp Fiction.
Okay, and which is the character?
This
is from Pulp Fiction.
Pulp
The film
Fiction.
is correct.
This is that Tarantino comes in that you mean that car? Is that the climax they go?
No, this is Mr. Wolf's car. When he calls him and Mr. Wolf comes and there's that super 5 minutes 32 seconds later. It's that frame. Okay, great. Now, yeah, this one.
Clue.
Okay. This is a film that inspired a very popular video game.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen.
Okay, this is from Battle Royale. It is Quentin Tarantino's most favorite film. Like whenever there's a list of his films, films that he likes, it's always there, like in the top 5.
I've not seen.
Yeah, so you can watch it on MUBI. Battle Royale is available on MUBI, so do watch it. Great. Now, yeah, I think this you will be able to guess easily.
Mullu Malaram.
Yes, this is from Mullu Malaram. Now we have 2 frames on music itself. Both, like this one and the next one, have something to do with music.
This is from my film.
Yes.
Mahan.
Yes, this is from Mahan, where
Duru Saint.
Vikram Saran. Wait. And yeah, again, this also has to do something with music. I don't know if you would remember this film, but I have a feeling you like this filmmaker. I don't know why.
What is the clue?
So the song that plays in the sequence, it's that cassette, Beethoven 9th Symphony.
No idea.
Okay, this is from Clockwork Orange. It's the scene where he plays music and does horrific things like he does in the film. And now this is the last frame.
Iravi.
Okay, this is not from Iravi.
Huh? This is from Iravi.
No, this is not from Iravi.
From? Then?
I would give you another chance because it is from your film. It is from one of your films, but it's not Iravi.
This is from Iravi.
I don't think
this is from Jigarthanda.
Yes, this is from Jigarthanda.
But Iravi also has the same shot.
Similar.
No, it's the exact same shot actually.
Okay. So today
I think maybe I used the same footage. Because the Iravi trailer opens with this.
Right.
And Jigarthanda trailer also
opens with this. Yes.
So,
great.
Yeah.
So you got almost everything right. So congratulations on
Thank you.
Your performance. And now we are going to give you a hamper. This is not a coffee with Karan hamper, so it's not very elaborate, but it's our modest Chalchitra hamper. This has our merchandise.
Thank you.
So it has a t-shirt which says recommend me a film. So yeah, that was our segment, and you did very well in it. So now, since we were discussing music and like the use of music in different films, you have this tendency of picking like the most appropriate like music from earlier films, or even in background score as well, for like the best moment. So they call it a needle drop moment, where you have like the best song playing. So what is the trick that you use to pick the most appropriate song for any scene?
You mean to say the other film songs?
Yeah, like how you use Ilayaraja sir's
Ilayaraja sir song.
music.
So basically, the Ilayaraja sir song is like something, I think it's very much part of my life. Ilayaraja sir music is very much part of my life. So any situation in my life or anything will have a song for it. I mean, you can connect that any moment to a Ilayaraja song for it. And I also like to use it in the film, but not always, or not so frequently. But it should come in some point, because for me, I think I first used in Jigarthanda opening thing. I used MUBI as song from Pasamala, like Malandam Malara, the song. That is because that's one song. My dad used to love that song, that film also. And that song used to keep playing when he was a kid, because my dad has a habit of every day before going to sleep, he used to put his set of cassette, I mean, his favorite cassette, and that used to have this song and all. So in the Jigarthanda opening scene, when I wanted to show that it's running in like a theater, this one, I wanted to this song only. Right. So that kind of become like an opening for the film Jigarthanda, and then the same song I used in Peta also, like when before the interval, when Talaivar sits in the chair, I used to use that song. So, and in Iraivi, the opening was Ilayaraja sir's song, the Tendral on the Tindu song, where IJ sir takes a tequila shot and all that. So, that kind of gives a different vibe to the particular scene. And but I also being conscious that it shouldn't be like overused, or it shouldn't become like a habit or something, because I used to try to, but when that is really required, I go for a song or MSV song.
Okay, so since you have an Ilayaraja song for like every memory of your life, you have to make an Ilayaraja mixtape. Which songs will you pick and why?
How many songs you need?
As many as you want. Okay, so we will limit this to 7 songs.
7 songs. Yeah, I mean, Tendral on the Tindu the song, and Ramaya Andalum from Mullumalarum, and Mauna Ragam, all songs, but Mauna Ragam song, and Tenpandi Chimile from Nayagan. And there is one song which is in Talabadi, there is one song. It's called Puttampudu Pootado, but there is no visual for that song. Okay. So, and I think that song has not been used anywhere else also.
So it's only in the cassette?
Yeah, it's there in the cassette. They said it's between Rajini sir and Bhanupriya sir, madam's character. The full song is not there, I think. So that one. So how much I told?
5, not 2 more.
And and Mohan hits. I think I love all the songs in the Mohan. There is another thing called Naan Paadum Mauna Ragam Kekku. Then Oorusanam Thungirchi.
Nice. I like every mixtape which has like some deep hidden song that very few people know about. So the song you mentioned from Talapati, I think that made the deal. So like it's a good blend. Like there are popular songs, there are underrated songs as well. So I want to ask you, what are some of your favorite background scores?
Background scores, I think there is Mauna Ragam. I like that. There's one famous bit in Mauna Ragam background score. I think my wife gifted me a piano because I like that piano, but I don't know to play and all that. So then I thought I should learn and all that. But I just learned only that particular theme from Mauna Ragam thing. That is an extraordinary background score thing, and I think all Ilayaraja's like Maniratnam sir, Ilayaraja's combination, all the background score are extraordinary. Like because in Talabadi and all, you see the background score that is like totally And even in Punnahai Mannan also there is an extraordinary background score. And Rahman sir's films, BGM background scores and all those.
And from Hollywood films?
Hollywood films, Tarantino's way of using other indie songs, I like that, because he doesn't have that like a composer, like a one music composer for, I think even Pulp Fiction or Ringo Bastard. He used to use a lot of other old songs and also like other indie artist songs and all that. So that in the Mood for Love, that film's track, that is one track I used to listen always, like for an always screenplay, some scenes will connect to that particular music. I used to listen to that. And I have a set of playlists, very random set of playlists which I used to keep listening. Like whenever, because when you're writing also, I used to listen to some music and then write.
So, which are some of your favorite TV shows?
I think the first TV show which I saw, after this on Netflix and it was Narcos. Obviously, I loved it. And then Peaky Blinders, Breaking Bad. I liked that. All these things I watched during this Corona lockdown. Narcos I watched it before, but after this, the Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders, I was binge watching and watched it only during the Corona time. So those are, if you take the first few, I think those are my favorites. And Friends.
Friends. So are you like a binge watching person, or do you watch like one episode one day?
I binge watched all this Game of Thrones during Corona time. I continuously kept watching, binge watch it. But now, when I'm in midst of work, if there is something exciting, I used to watch an episode. But mostly I end up binge watching. If it is really good, I end up binge watching. Friends is something my wife used to keep telling, like, watch Friends. I have not watched it. I watched it only very recently. But then after watching, I think I've seen it like 6-7 times, all the seasons. It used to be my breakfast. Every morning it used to keep playing, and then I used to actually watch that.
Again, this is like a slightly off question, but I just wanted to ask you, would you consider yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
What is the exact meaning? I don't know.
Yeah, basically introverts are people who usually keep to themselves, avoid social interaction, and extroverts would be people who seek to talk to other people. They want to be around people.
I'm mostly an introvert, but and selectively extrovert. Like there are some people whom I'm so much open, I can talk, but mostly I try to. But once there is a sync and thing, I used to be open, but not like, I'm not a person who can directly enter into a stranger's party and then talk with everyone. I won't be like that. I will just try to avoid that or go in a corner. But if it is people who have already connected or have a sync with me, then I used to freak out.
Right. The reason I'm asking this is because I've kind of noticed this, that when you are a director, you have to be a people's person, that you have to be able to communicate to people what you want from them. So I just wanted to know, like, is there a learning that you have from about getting the kind of work that you want from your team that you regularly use?
Yeah, because that's basically communication, because you need to talk to people. No, I'm not saying like I won't talk to people, but the thing is I meant in socializing way. I don't but communication wise, you need to communicate because I think it's like everybody, like you take DOP or you take art director and all that. So I used to tell them, like, it shouldn't be like more of a talkative communication, like it should be more of on paper communication. Like that's what we try to, because when we before shooting, me and DOP used to sit and work, read the script, talk the shots, take a list, and then if required, have a storyboard. And then after that, there is not much of communication going to happen between me and him during the shoot. It's going to be, because we have already discussed that. And with an artist also, I expect have a script reading session before the shoot spot. And during the shoot, it's just going to be like, okay, what kind of things he has in mind, how is he going to perform, and if there is any change required for me, I'll just tell, okay, I can just change, but not because I will never act and show I will never perform on show and all. It's mostly I want to get it from them.
Right.
So yeah, communication is very important with the technician. That's more important. Yeah.
Another off question. This is the off question segment. But do you dream often?
Yeah, yeah.
And do you remember the images that you see in your dreams?
Not often, but some images, yeah. But I have a habit of dreaming whenever there's a shoot going on. I think like after like first 10 days of shoot, I used to constantly get a dream that I'm in a set, and then all the cameras are waiting, and then that whatever I'm shooting, it will be like in that set.
Right.
So that used to be like a constant dream. I mean, every day I used to get that.
Yeah.
Like all the cameras are waiting, artists are waiting or something, and then I'm there somewhere, and that shot is said to be taken. I'll wake up, and then it is the next day. So that used to come like whenever I'm shooting, it's continuously I used to. And I've asked some of my friends also. They said even they used to get that kind of dream while shooting. I think I think it happens generally.
Right. Have you seen any like moments from your films in your dreams that okay, this is a nice shot I can use in my film?
Yeah, I think some, I mean, while you're scripting and all, something comes in the dream and then it has changed, scene and all. Like in some dream, I will get up and then it will give me an idea and I will go and write that.
Right. So, has it ever happened to you that you see any moment from your body of work and you feel that, okay, this is really good and I don't know how I pulled it off, but like I really like this bit. Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah, I actually kind of put in my heart, and I mean, every filmmaker does that to every film, and then when you complete a film and then it's ready for release, it is like, it has to be your best product.
Right.
I mean, it has to be your best film, whatever you're doing. That's what I has to keep in my mind. Because when I'm making a film and then say my mind only tells, okay, this is not my best, like the one which I did previous was best, this is okay. Then I have failed in some point. So for me, whatever I did, my recent film should be the best. I mean, whatever work I'm doing now should be the best. That's how I go. But for me, one film is like Iraivi and Mercury, where like somehow I still feel somewhere it didn't get the viewership, especially Mercury. And Jagamai Tandraman Mahan, because it got released in OTT. And so I always long for a theatrical release for those two films. So those are the things which have in my mind, but I always try to give the best product out.
Lastly, I just wanted to ask from you, because this is the first time I'm in Chennai. So I wanted to ask you, what are some food recommendations from Chennai and like around the area?
Chennai is known for biryani actually, because the place from where I come, Madurai, it is famous for that parota and chalna. I love that food. In Chennai, very rarely you get good parota and chalna, right. but for biryani wise, you have excellent options. I think you should try.
Any like particular places that you would like?
There is one place called Rama's Hyderabadi biryani. If you like Hyderabadi biryani, that Rama's is good. And there is, if you want the taste of Madurai, there is something called Madurai Kumar Mess, which has this, whatever I said, barota, chuka and all that. So that's all very good. And there is a mess called E-Road Amman Mess. That's also very good.
Do you like traveling?
Yeah. Not like I wouldn't say like I'm a very big traveler. I keep traveling often, but I would like to go somewhere out.
What are your like travel recommendations, that these are places you've been to and you really liked?
See, my favorite spot is Kodaikanal. Travel in the sense not like a lengthy travel, but I would just, from Chennai, if you want to go somewhere, I would like to go to Kodaikanal. But then recently I was out Prague for the last year New Year. So I love that place. So I would say that's one place. And then Greece. The lifestyle of Greece was something that was very exciting for me. Like, because the way I saw was like it was all like small restaurants, pubs and everything, the entire town. But everything was full in the evening.
Right.
So I asked the person there. So he said they have the habit of like working till 6, and then everyone comes out of their home, and then they used to have the dinner only outside. So it was very happening, like people, more of the local crowds, they are all, so that kind of vibe was very good.
Thank you so much, Karthik, for doing this with us. And for all the movies that I recommended you, you can watch them on MUBI. MUBI is a great OTT platform which has like some of the best of world cinema.
So sometimes when I'm doing a film or something, suddenly when I'm seeing like a lot of films so I feel like, okay, I should watch something out of the, say if I see a bad film, I mean, I go and watch a bad film in theatre and then that sort of screws my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, what is happening and all. Then I will just go and then I'll just put on MUBI and then I'll watch some film at least for some time, so that it sort of refreshes my mind. So that's one of my favorite today.
What is the last film that you've watched on MUBI?
This film which got an Oscar, no, about a person. He'll be driving a cab, he'll be driving a taxi, he will see his wife having an affair.
Drive My Car.
Drive My Car.
Drive My Car.
Drive My Car, yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So if you have watched the episode till here, use the hashtag Jigarthanda in the comments, and this series would not have been possible without MUBI, which is a curated streaming service where each and every title is hand-selected by its team of curators. Much like Karthik's last film Jigarthanda XX, my film recommendation for you this week also touches upon the relationship between indigenous tribal communities of India and the forest, which has been their traditional home. This is a film called The Tortoise Under the Earth by Shishir Jha, which is about the life of a tribal community in India, which is now facing the danger of losing its home and its livelihood in the forest. You can find this docu-fiction film now streaming on MUBI. You can try a whole year of MUBI for only Rs 12.99 from mubi.io/Beyond Bollywood. That's one whole year of great cinema for only Rs 12.99. So please do share your favorite parts from the episode with me in the comments, and I'll see you very soon with another episode of MUBI Presents Beyond Bollywood.